I mean, like in the 80s,
Yeah, in the 80s.
Quicksand was like the number one concern of adolescence. We saw there's a plot like that, and being tied to a railway tracks.
Shit.
Those two things are like the ways that you go in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
At least
I remember being like at my friend's house, and he had a big huge dirt pile. Oh my gosh, like there's nothing better than a dirt pile. Like you could run up, literally just jump off and then fall into like slide down and dirt.
So the first time I ever had to get stitches was similar. We had a big dirt pile in our driveway, and I had like these. My driveway was like a cutout inside of like a slope. So there's a retaining walls.
Okay.
On the length of the driveway, right?
Like a trench run.
Kind of, yeah, kind of like the trench run. So it's like a retaining wall. They start up high, close to the house, and then obviously because the house is set into like a slope, and then they kind of like narrow down. Got just not as deep as you got down towards the road, but we had delivered a whole bunch of dirt. I think my dad, I don't know what the fuck the dirt was for, but I think he's probably like planting shit in the yard, or where they put it in the driveway. And my buddy Kevin and I we play with our Matchbox cars. We'd make like these crazy like roads like around the mountain on that big dirt pile, and then I like lost my footing and fell back, and then kind of did like a 360 deal, and I smacked my head right on the cement
retaining wall,
and I sliced my forehead up, and I had to get stitches.
Yeah, how many stitches did you get?
It was like 10 or so, and 10? Then a couple years later, I was sledding in the neighborhood, right? And when you go sledding as a kid, there's no helmets, none of that bullshit. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know how sledding is, right? We didn't wear jeans.
It's for real. You
didn't even hit record. Oh, we did hit record.
Dude,
okay.
Yeah, we did. And I went sledding headfirst into a tree and smacked my head. You can actually kind of still see right there.
Oh yeah.
It starts here and goes all the way up back here. Pretty gnarly, man. That was like when I was like 7 or 8 years old. It's pretty sick.
I rode a tricycle.
So much.
I rode a tricycle down a flight of stairs, and cat, get out of there! No, get out of there!
Cat's trying to kill you again.
Well, I don't want him to like sit on the artwork that I have out. I just unboxed a bunch of stuff.
Fuck your artwork.
Well, he's gonna lay on it, and then he's gonna get.
He's just here for the cold open.
No, exactly. That's what I mean. I'm doing the cat monologue.
The cold opening. Welcome to the Ramblecast. If you haven't guessed, episode 2, whatever the fuck it is. Jack's not here. R.I.P.
Oh, did Jack dip out, or did he?
Yeah,
give
he
us any
stepped
warning?
out.
Yeah, Jack couldn't make it tonight. He had to take care of some stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think he tried this last week.
Which means the show is going to be like 45 minutes shorter than it has been in the past.
I have all the power.
Jack's not here to fuck up the closing of the show. So
I legit didn't know if I could be a producer if my login credentials would work, but It was an old cold. It was an old cold. I fucked it up that way.
Is it older code, but it checked out? Yeah.
Wow.
Older code. I like it.
So it's been like a couple weeks since I've seen you, gentlemen.
I know, that's what I was thinking too. Yeah. So I was like, how long has it been?
Yeah, that last week was on me, or not. Well, not on me, on the person.
It was a confluence of events. It was a little you, a little Jack. So I just and nobody wanted to hear just Nick and I talk, because that's just a normal Owen and Bruce.
That's right.
But so what's new? What y'all been up to the last couple of weeks? I saw Guardians.
It's good, wasn't it?
Nick, you saw Guardians in Austin.
I can step out. I've been wanting to take my family to see it, but
don't worry about it. All right, we'll move on from it then. I recommend it. It's good.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was I think it's the best one since the last Spider-Man. As in MCU movies, I was really happy with it. It's a little, has some weird, going from like a sad bit to a comedy bit, a little jarring at times, but it's still a solid movie,
Yeah. I saw the Quantum Mania, because it's on Disney Plus now, so I watched that. Actually, as a family, we all watched it. We actually liked it. We were like, "Whoa!" What? It was one of those movies. I was like, "Why did this get panned? What was?"
Well, to me, it needed a lot of editing. I felt like there's some scenes in there that didn't really matter, like the whole Bill Murray stuff. Like, why is that in there?
I liked
Just
it.
because it's Bill Murray.
No, it's because
I
Bill
like-
Murray. Yeah, but like
yeah.
there's definitely scenes in it where you're kind of like it served no point of the story, you know. And then
mean,
also to me, plot wise, it's Lord of the Rings. You know,
Totally.
I pegged that midway through the film. I was like, this is Lord of the Rings, you know, and I was like,
there was no shame in it either.
it was no shame.
blameless.
I was like, if Michael Douglas comes in with the army ant at the end, it's the army of the dead. You know, like it's like that's what it is. You know, instead of the ring, it's the orb that he needs to get back.
Right,
it's like, it's Lord of the Rings. You know,
sure.
But it's still a good film.
I just like the way that it got panned. Sometimes like you hear about a movie that's just like all half of the population's hating on it for some reason. You're just like, what is the?
Yeah. I mean, with
then
Marvel,
you watch it, and you're like, you kind of go in kind of expecting like something lowered expectations, and then you come out and you're like,
and then you like it,
okay, this is so. I think
it wasn't bad. It was unfairly panned. I think, I mean, I think Marvel. I give it like a solid 6.5, 7. You know, it's a decent film. You can watch it. It's entertaining, but it's not. You know, it's not up there in the highest of Marvel.
I think it's my favorite. It was my favorite of the new phase up until Guardians. And Guardians took that spot for me. I would say like, dude, Marvel's fucked. Like. Like there's no way around it. Like they're completely fucked. Like they made their own bed and now they've got so much shit. What they need to do which is what they're trying to do. You can clearly tell that they have to reset like as much as possible and start fresh, which is what they're attempting to do with some of these plot lines. But you're running into the whole idea of like, okay, well, Tony Stark kind of like made and killed the MCU. If you think about it, right? Like he's a reason for the Iron Man and what's his name, and Robert Downey Jr. Solely responsible for the revival of MCU, but at the same time, it's actually its own demise, and it's kind of like parallel to the actual storyline, which is kind of interesting.
Well, I mean, in my opinion, I think if they just would have laid off for a couple of years. You know, like after Endgame, it's the same thing as like with Lucasfilm kind of putting too much too quickly of Star Wars. Maybe it's like, hey, like you. Well,
the timing of the Solo movie was poorly done.
Exactly, poorly done, and that's kind of what I'm trying to say here. Yeah, is that with all phase 1 through 3, that feels like just one big arc. And it finally came to a close, and then
agreed.
And then
one caveat though, not everything is like crystal clear A to B, phase 1 to 2 to 3, because there was shit that they laid out that went nowhere, right? There were like loose strands, and that's fine, And I look at this current phase that way. I think the Doctor Strange movie, is probably the biggest misstep because it didn't listen to what was going on in the TV shows. And here you had like the TV shows setting up this whole, I mean, my family.
Are you talking about Loki?
No, WandaVision.
Like WandaVision.
Like the character of character of WandaVision, apparently the writers had never even seen WandaVision because it was still in production. They had no idea what was going on with her character. And as she's reading the script, I read this and she's thinking, oh, okay. And then so she's even asking the writers like, hey, have you talked to them about this? Yeah. And they're like, no, this is not the way that, we have. And so she just played it how she thought. But here it is a complete 180 of her character, which many fans like just felt betrayed by. And Loki, though, by the way, my family just rewatched it. They love.
I like Loki.
It brought my daughter into the Marvel thing. Like she loves the character of Sylvie, and can't wait for the season 2. But even the things that they set up within Loki, clearly they're just kind of playing. Each movie's playing their own game, and they need to harmonize together. With like some. At least with the Kang stuff, it's kind of interesting because here you have a big bad villain. We got to build.
But now they're fucked with Kang.
Yeah, they're fucked with that.
Like the actor,
what are they gonna do?
Like you're talking about the actor, right?
Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
Like he's a real piece of shit.
Yeah. No, they are kind of fucked with that. So,
But
Unless
you know,
they want
they
to
can
bring
make
back
shit
the
work, right? I mean, you're looking at all the things to do with different like multiverses and whatever and blah blah. But here's the deal: like you look at the Marvels, I think is it or Ms. Marvel, what the new Marvels movies coming out?
Well, the Marvels is the movie. The Ms. Marvel is the Disney Plus show. Yeah.
Right, Marvel. So that movie that's coming out is probably the clearest. Like, hey, this is how we're moving forward. Like, film.
That's gonna be such a huge misstep though, because that was supposed to be released over a year ago. That movie,
right?
And they have rewritten it, reshot stuff so many times to where I don't think they even know what they wanted out of that movie. And
right.
I think it's
I mean, the same could have been said about Rogue One because they had to come in and clean that up too, and that worked. So
it was a fucking masterpiece.
So we don't know yet on that. I'm trying to go in half class.
Yeah, did you guys ever read that where it was the ending, the Darth Vader scene was not even in the original script, and Filoni is the one who actually said this needs to be in there. Yeah,
that's because he's got fucking brass balls, dude. That guy's awesome.
And I'm sure you guys have you guys read the reviews for Indy?
Are they not good?
Its lowest, it got down to 38% Rotten Tomatoes. That's the reviews. It's up to 50 now. But
I read the review that said that it was better than the last one.
Yeah, it's better than the last one, which is a lot of people. That's all they were hoping for.
That's all that you were hoping for. Check the tapes.
Yeah, listeners. I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't take much to beat Crystal Skull. But yeah, I mean, from the positive ones I've read have been
Nick's a nice
send off. It's a nice send off.
You read the news and you're like already convinced, It's just like you can't.
Not me. You talking about me?
No, you. Yeah.
No.
You need to go in like a child and wander through the wilderness.
Well, now the good news is that all the entire indie collection is going to be available for streaming.
Right.
Now,
I was so excited about this. Like, okay, so we lose Willow, and then we get. And now that was they did them dirty with that. Like that show hasn't even been out a full fucking year, and they're pulling it.
I've not heard one good thing about that show.
Bad. Like, I mean, when I usually give any show 3 to 4 episodes before I really pass judgment, and like I think on the second episode, I was like, this show sucks.
This is shit.
It's because like the thing is, it's not. I don't know who to blame all about Willow, but like it's one of those things where they made that show for the wrong audience because the only people who wanted to see Willow were people of our generation, people who
Generation X, baby.
Yeah, people who grew up watching Willow, and they didn't. They made it for the Gen Z, and it's like, hey, like, and Willow was hardly even fucking in it. It's like, dude, like, and so to me, you lost me almost from the beginning. And
yeah, I mean, my cousin straight up said something almost kind of maybe not as eloquently, believe it or not, listeners, as what Nick has said, but he was pretty down on some of the moves, I mean, I was
hopeful. I loved Willow as a kid.
Yeah.
So it.
You try going back and watching it.
Oh, I don't want to go back. I do not want to go back and watch it.
It does not hold up.
And who knows how the young Indiana Jones Chronicles will hold up, because I haven't seen those since the 90s. So
Phoenix?
I'll probably be. No, they don't have River Phoenix in it.
Just the show
Chronicles
from like 91 to like 93.
Yeah, that was River Phoenix.
No. It's like Patrick something or.
Yeah, he wasn't in the TV show.
Yeah, he was in the TV show.
There's 2 kids that they base it off of. Like there's a young Indy there's a young and then there's a younger.
And there's one.
Chris doesn't believe
really,
it.
really
Check the tapes.
Yeah.
It's been this might be like a.
It's been 1 week since. Sorry, I'm all full of caffeine now. I'm excited about all of the young Indiana because I thought there was, and I can't wait till it's released, but I thought there was an episode in which Harrison Ford appears, like as an old Indy.
Well, there is an old Indy, but that's not Harrison Ford.
No. I know there's an old Indy, but there's like an in between Indy. Oh, I think he left because of my comments. Yeah, he's just like, there's like a middle Indy where like he plays you're back.
Okay.
I clicked on something I shouldn't have clicked, and it disconnected my camera and my. Sorry.
That's okay. I mean, you can look at your OnlyFans page here in a little bit. We'll get done. I don't know.
Sell my feet on the internet.
So,
Hey, but you can make a living. There's all kinds of people that pay for weird shit.
yeah. So check me out at everydayinventors-pegging.com. No, but
oh my god! So I remember, what was it, like 3 or 4 years ago? I was talking to a lady about just stuff like that, and I said something about pegging, and she just looked at me, and she clearly had no idea what pegging was.
Yeah,
and she thought she meant like riding on the back of a bicycle on the pegs.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, and then finally she got back to me. She's like, "Oh my god, I didn't know what pegging was." And like, I just thought it was so funny. She's
and then you were like,
"Don't riding a bicycle." I was like,
and then
"No."
you said, and don't try to raw dog me again either.
Right, don't raw dog me again. That to me was the funniest bit in that show.
It was pretty funny. Yeah, it's been a pretty boring kind of like my kids are out of school, so we have some kind of downtime, and so I've been doing some computer work, and so I'll have a TV show or a movie going on, so that my son can, I don't know, do whatever the fuck he wants, and I can get my work done. And so I put on HBO, or now it's called Max, which is because they clearly own.
Did they change it already?
Yeah, they changed it yesterday. And so, like, basically, you can still click on the icon for HBO Max, but then it will redirect you to download the new app.
Yeah.
And then you need to close out of the HBO Max and then move yours, up to wherever you have your app on your TV, and then basically remove the HBO Max one because it won't work anymore. But,
so Shazam, the
I didn't see the second one. The first one was
that's on the Max now.
Oh,
so
the Max.
Yeah, there's one moment in that whole movie that just kind of made me laugh out loud. Funny, moment.
But both the 1 and 2 on Max.
I think both are on Max because they have all of the DC stuff. So I think Zachary Levi. I feel like he's like the weakest link in the movie.
The fucking main character.
Yeah.
I just don't like how he plays.
That's not a good review, man.
I like actually like I think there's a younger actor that is kind of like this movie's more focused on him.
On the second, you mean the second one or both of them?
On the second one.
Okay.
On the second one, there's another. It's his friend. It's his friend that it's kind of more focused on in the second one, and I think that actor outacts Zachary Levi.
Man, I'm still pissed because my ill-fated TV series "Why the Last Man."
It got removed. Yeah.
Which is a fucking travesty because that's a really fucking great story.
We talked about that. Yeah.
Oh my god, it's such a good story, and I think that they could have done so much more with it. They didn't get shit on by a terrible network.
Well, it's a network, and then the contracts. Yeah, we talked about that. Like why it got.
Dude, it's such a fucking good story. But anyways, I had always pegged Zachary Levi as the person who should have played Yorick in the show or the movie, if how they made it. He was like the perfect personality for it. And granted, it's also because I was reading that story probably when Chuck was on, right? And I just immediately kind of made that association, but Chuck still adds up. He would have made a great Yorick.
The first 2 seasons of Chuck are so damn good because that's before they started losing all the budget and all that. The show still holds up, but you can tell like after they lost a lot of their sponsors, and then they were all the Subway plugins. I was like for like 3, 4, and 5, it's like the show kind of went downhill.
It's like Community.
Yeah, like Community, exactly.
Community suffers from the same kind of like budget crisis, and if you're just now joining us, Jim, yes, there is no Jack today. Sorry.
Not the same,
the quality starts to go down. It's kind of similar to like if you've watched the 5th Planet of the Apes movie of the original.
Oh, the original,
5. The original. You get to that 5th movie and you're like, whoa, okay, all right, I see how this is like. You tried to make Andor.
Did you guys just go back to Zachary Levi? Did you guys watch that football movie he was in? That was pretty good.
Oh, when he played
the guy from the Rams,
Kurt Warner.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I mean, I watched it on like a flight.
I saw that Super Bowl that he played in. I was
there. That's right. Yeah.
Titans Rams. No, I haven't seen that. Was it good though?
Yeah, I mean it's what you expect it to be. It's a lighthearted, just wholesome football movie about a guy who was constantly told he would never amount to anything, and then he ended up winning the fucking Super Bowl. And it's just if you like a good lighthearted football movie, give it a shot.
Nice.
I watched that thing on plane, so it probably was edited a little bit, but
sure,
but it was good.
So, a couple things. So, first of all, quick mini review. And you guys have a Nintendo Switch?
No. I do not. No.
Okay.
I try to stay away from those drugs.
Fuck.
I know.
So the new Zelda game came out last week, and it is like so immersive, and if you ever played the other one at all, it's like similar, very similar style. But the story
I've watched Jay play it,
and the gameplay is just like, what?
It was at one of the Raleigh meetups one year, and it was I think right around the time that the first one had came out, and I had seen Jay had the Switch, and I got to see all of the
the new one's awesome, and it's completely like as you mentioned, it's like a fucking drug. But the game is really, really well made. It's like I haven't run into any issues with the game. It's just been a perfect experience, really, from a big, huge release of the game. It's been very, very good. So. For those out there who have a Switch, I recommend picking up Tears of the Kingdom, which is the sequel to Breath of the Wild. If you haven't played Breath of the Wild, it's okay. You don't need to. You're going to miss out on some story, but the game, I don't think the game is really built so much surrounding the plot as it is just the actual gameplay, the things you're able to do, and how well that they are able to kind of
So does this take that to one step further? That interactive game world? Okay.
Yeah, it's very, very good. So that happened for me this week. What else? Oh, my daughter went to Taylor Swift here in Foxborough. I'm actually jealous I didn't go, because everything I've been watching and seeing about these concerts is that the experience is incredible. Everybody at these shows is just there having a great time. So she recently did 3 nights here at Gillette Stadium, which is 15 minutes from my house. And day 2, it was a torrential downpour for the
is that the one she went to?
Concert. No, my daughter went to the next night, but it was a torrential downpour, pouring rain. Not just sprinkles, water bouncing off of the keys of her keyboard, that much type of rain. So much so, I guess the next night the keyboard.
I just imagine the electricians the entire time are just beads of sweat, just
awful,
please.
Right?
I don't want to be the one that kills Taylor Swift.
but I'll tell you,
I wired that properly.
So thankfully, my daughter, she's 11. A friend of hers who had recently turned 11, her parents had gotten her 6 tickets, as a gift for her to go and bring family or friends, whatever. They bought them at face value, so they bought them on Ticketmaster when they first came out. So it wasn't they were reselling for over $2,000 a ticket for nosebleeds. Swear to God. So she invited my daughter, which was amazing, because I didn't have to pay for the ticket. I didn't have to go pay for parking. I didn't have to deal with going to the concert. But my daughter got to have, dude. But I'll be honest with you, I would have loved to have gone, just because I mean, you guys know me. I'm a concert live music junkie. I'm actually flying to Chicago in a week and a half, 2 weeks from now, to go see a band play. And
Blues Brothers.
We love music. We love live music. We listen to music constantly in our house. Next to my phone, I think the HomePod is probably the most used device in our home. But my daughter got to experience her first arena show, and what a fucking show to start off with. Right? Everything else is going to pale in comparison for her. She's been to front row of Kids Bop, right?
Oh, right.
And that was in an outdoor amphitheater, whatever. She didn't even fucking remember it. But dude, you guys may have saw the video I posted on Instagram.
Yeah, I did.
That's a core memory that she's always going to have. And I'm just so stoked that she was able to have that opportunity to go, and she had so much fun. And those crowds are just an incredible, incredible groups of people. I'm going to tell you right now, from everything I've seen and heard, Swifties are probably the best music fans in the industry right now. Just as a welcoming, inclusive, and fun crowd to be a part of.
You've clearly never been to a Guar show.
Yeah, right. Sherry says, I don't know how you afford to go to concerts. They're so expensive. Yeah. We shit.
That's why he has
cards.
a second mortgage.
Yeah, right. It's kind of like our vice, man. We don't often go out to dinner much. So like, where people spend money on other things, we kind of like squirrel it away and go to concerts. But yeah, I got tickets to go see Billy Joel and Stevie Nicks.
Oh, that'd be really with
That's gonna
Stevie.
be pretty cool.
That's
Yeah.
wow.
So we got that going on in the fall. We got Dead and Company for 3 shows, 2 in Wrigley, 1 at Fenway. Mm-hmm. Dave Matthews in between the 2. Mm-hmm. My Morning Jacket, I just got tickets for, playing in Boston this fall at a real small, cool new venue, which I'm pretty stoked about. But yeah, concert season is.
I've seen them in concert
us
for sure. So yeah. I mean, I think a smaller venue would be even cooler. But
and John Mayer again after his fall solo. Yeah, we fucking go to too many concerts. But it's what we do.
I just went and saw First Aid Kit. If you guys don't know who you guys should listen to them if you never have. It's 2 Swedish sisters. They've been around for over a decade now, but they're really good.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah, First Aid Kit. Check them out. But it's funny. I can tell I'm becoming an old man because the place they played at was all general admission except for there's a VIP section that's like just a nonstop bar, and you could sit in you had to buy 4 tickets though, but there's like these little tables and stools that you can sit up above. And I was like, you know what? I would rather buy 4 fucking tickets and sit, than have to stand up a bunch of, just shoulder to shoulder with a bunch of people. So
the My Morning Jacket shows is a all general admission.
Yeah. Oh,
100%.
It's different. Like if it was Red Rocks, I don't mind because you're outside, you got lots of space, But like in a small area, I don't like being, just jammed anymore amongst a bunch of people. And I got these 4 tickets, and so like the few people I know in the area, I was like, hey, you guys are gonna go see First Aid Kit? And they're like, oh my god, like I want to go to that. And so and then people were like, how much? Because like, oh my god, Nick, we're in the VIP section. How much did you pay for this? It's like, don't worry about it, dude. It's my gift to you. I was like, it was either going to be me sitting by myself or just giving them to random people. So, but it was fun. So I basically ate and drank for free. So I was like, yeah, it was a win-win. Nice. It was a win-win. They all bought me stuff.
I've got their the Apple Music's Essentials album for First Aid Kit. I'm gonna go ahead and add that to my catalog.
Yeah, you're gonna dig them. Yeah, like nice. Emmylou is probably came out in 2012. That's probably the song that made them famous. And then
the top 3 are My Silver Lining, It's a Shame, and Emmylou.
Yeah. Those are good. Yeah. And then Fireworks is also a really good song. And then they do a lot of good cover. Actually, what got them a recording contract, Jay would appreciate this. In 2008 or 2009, they did a YouTube cover of Fleet Foxes song. And the lead singer of Fleet Foxes saw it, and then he's one of the guys that was responsible for getting them a record deal because their harmonies are just really, really good. I mean, they're good.
Is it because you think that we don't like Fleet Foxes or something?
No, I just know that Jay loves Fleet Foxes. So
I remember Jay loving. I remember him talking about Fleet Foxes.
Yeah,
that's totally in our. That's totally in our listening sphere as far as because we also have we don't have the pod, but we have Google speakers. And that's always kind of a nice thing because I can't say the magic words or else it's going to get activated. But, right. The fact that you can say this and say now I will argue with it a lot of times because I'll go to say something like the other day, I just wanted to play Let's Dance by David Bowie. It puts on not the normal version, but some demo version. And I'm like, oh, no, well, I mean, that's cool. But I wanted that song. I didn't want you know what I mean? So sometimes it's like the one that it pulls, you're kind of like, okay, I got to be really freaking specific. And so by the time I get done speaking whatever I've said, I'm just like, ugh, so hard to talk. When am I going to have the implant that I can just think this? Anyway.
M. did a good cover of Let's Dance. It's slow, but it's good. If you know.
So I just did like a 10-second listen to the first 3 songs. I like it.
Yeah.
There's a band I think you'd also dig if you like these guys here. You should check out Truesdale, Trousdale. I saw them Trousdale. Yep. Okay. I just watched, or not watched. I saw them open up for Corey Wong a couple of months ago, and they fucking blew me away. Like, absolutely blew me away. But yeah, great band. But it's very similar, folky, harmonizing.
Yeah. Well, that's my bread and butter. That's what I really love. I love harmonies. I love folk. Yeah, I mean, I like everything, but that's really, if I usually go to something, it's something like that. Simon and Garfunkel, Billy Joel, like you're talking about. Like, I mean,
dude, I walked into the concert and they were covering the what do you call it? The traveling Wilburys. When I walked into the concert, I was like, who are these girls? Like, this is amazing. Like, these guys are awesome. But their social media is really great too. They're dropping a bunch of new songs and releasing them on Instagram.
Before I forget, Chris, maybe at the My Morning Jacket venue, I don't know, but at like, I went to a general admission concert, like last year with my family, and they happened to have like this like upper row, or just like this, like if you wanted to pay for a table you could on spec, but they were like first come first serve, kind of thing. And we just happened to and that was the best, because then we didn't have to be down in the, but if you're going, depending on it, if it's just you that's going, or if you and your wife are going, it's like, sometimes it's like fighting for like, okay, do I want to be that person that's there at like 4 a.m. like so I can have that, or is there a but I don't know.
What blows my mind, I think we've actually talked about this, like that interview with Kurt Cobain, where they're talking about Madonna, like how much she's charging for tickets, and he like loses his mind, and how much tickets have exploded since we were young or younger. Because I remember the first time I ever paid a shit ton of money was 2002. I went to see Paul McCartney, and I was third row, and I paid $202 for my ticket. That same ticket today would be $900 or more. It's just
if the Beatles were writing the song Taxman today, it would be called Ticketmaster.
Right. Yeah.
So I'll show you the the tickets I went through is actually through for My Morning Jacket does through AXS or Access or whatever it is. They don't go through Ticketmaster, which I think is actually kind of cool, because they do keep their prices down considerably. But it's a whole different experience of trying to get tickets. So like for us, like for this particular show, you have to like register your name, you give your credit card ahead of time, you register your name, and then they do like a drawing, and then if you get picked, you just buy the tickets, right? And that's how my wife and I, we both did it, and it was all both GAs, or we were able to kind of get just a bunch of tickets for all friends to go and not have to worry about seats and stuff. Okay, but this is the venue.
Nice.
So it's actually to see My Morning Jacket at this venue is going to be fucking bananas because of the size of the place.
No, that's awesome.
But it's a super, super small place, and like as you can see, it has the balcony upstairs, which is probably where we're gonna find ourselves.
You're gonna be fucking rocked. Yeah, this reminds me of a venue in Indy that I've been to. I saw Diggable Planets there, and Rusted Root, and
But like, if I can pull up this image here, it's actually a pretty good picture of it.
I don't know if you guys are this way, like I do. I if I can have the option of getting the physical ticket to a concert, I will get it, because I like keeping my stubs. And nowadays you can't even hardly do that with anybody anymore. But what just Chris saying AXS, what I always hate about AXS tickets though is they use the cheapest ink possible for their tickets, and so like this is a Dr. Joe ticket. It's like it's basically just white, and I'm just like, that's why I hate it, because like, well, fuck, man.
The only way that you could do it is just take shipping tape and like just like a big huge seal and seal it in, so then it wouldn't, the ink wouldn't like evaporate and fluff off. I mean, it's just like there's nothing holding that ink to that surface, so you almost need something that's going to stick it. Now, for my daughter last year, like one of her birthday presents was to see Belle and Sebastian. Oh, and that was like our first concert that we took her to. And but yeah, again, they didn't have tickets, and I made these little tickets for her so that she had that like as a souvenir, like just that, because it is that thing that's like, and it was like a birthday present that she opened up.
I always think of a High Fidelity right here, Belle and Sebastian.
I just saw the chat.
Which one?
John, not yet. You?
Apparently it's
John
not
says, jack
to-
off
Oh
today.
yeah, I got you.
okay.
I would
Good
have
night, it's
never.
young.
I would have never put that. Yeah.
Sherry says, "About Tears of the Kingdom, haven't played it yet. Yeah, it's beware. It's gonna suck you right in, Sherry. Be careful."
I'm a
yeah.
huge car soccer. I love playing car soccer. It's Rocket League, and I play it every Monday with my brother. And it's good because he has the system, so I just visit it, and then that way I'm not like on it all the time. But they have an app. They have like the mobile app, and I'm just as addicted to like playing that. It's like so. I try to find things to break out of that habit.
Yeah.
If I don't, eventually I'll just delete the app because I'm just like, fuck you. Like I gotta I can't. It's too. It's too. I got that with TikTok at some point. Like even though I still post on TikTok, sometimes I'll go through periods where I just delete like an app just so I'm just like, no, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't mess with you right now. You're too. It's the synapses in our brain. It's like check the email, check the news, check this app. You go to IMDb, go to this. It's like you have these like things that you do, and sometimes you have to break out of this.
It's true.
The tech cycle. It's like it's a weird tech cycle in your brain. It's like as old school Gen Xers go.
Yeah. I was gonna say I used to play Rocket League on Xbox. I remember is when I even like paid for a skin for one of my cars.
Mm-hmm.
The DeLorean, sure. Right? So like I had to flip the soccer ball.
You have a DeLorean?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, they recently did a R2 C3PO K2. They did a Star Wars. I got the R2 for mine, but yeah.
Oh, one last thing. I'm kind of in the throes of it right now.
The shits?
Buying a car for my wife.
Oh,
my wife's car is an absolute piece of shit. We're gonna get rid of it. And I've decided this time around that I don't want to deal with the bullshit of dealing with dealerships. I just don't want. I don't have the fucking energy for it right now. So we're going through CarMax.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have ever bought a car from CarMax, but so far it's been one of the easiest. Like
we did Carvana for our Prius, but we were very much like this is the model, this is the make, these are the specific years that we were looking at, this is the whatever
trim.
the trim, and we just kind of waited for some of those to pop up. And when they did, we were like, you almost had to kind of act, or else they're gone. And then, but they give you a 1 week period with the vehicle. You can return it. You can return it up to 3 times. And they deliver it. All of the interaction. It was perfect, and I loved it because it does take the hassle out of it's weird, but it's like we're so put off by the actual sales pitch or the actual pushiness that we'd rather
it's
just
a pain in the balls. And but some people get energy from that too, which I understand. I get it. But I mean, I don't fucking care. Like I will pay for convenience. You know what I mean? Like granted, you buy from Carvana or you buy them from CarMax, you're absolutely paying a 5% to 10% price hike.
Sure.
Just because you're dealing with the bullshit. You're not dealing with the bullshit. They have no hassle, no haggle pricing. And you know what? At this point, I'm like, fuck it. They're also giving, they quoted us a trade-in value that's way higher than I'm expecting to get anywhere because we're also kind of like underwater with her car. So it's kind of a pain in the balls. So I'm eating $5,000 regardless. But yeah, totally sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we found a car and, we had to order it or have it transferred from Ohio. There's a couple in Indiana, and I was like, "Oh shit, man, I'll go visit Matt and I'll drive it home." But we ended up getting one from Ohio, and we're paying like a couple $300 to have it shipped over. But Yeah, I'm excited for her. She needs a car that's reliable and not going to be breaking down every 5 seconds. And
Yeah.
We chose an Acura MDX. I'm pretty excited about it.
Nice.
It's a nice little SUV.
I've been saying this for probably 6 or 7 years now, but I totally see the traditional car lot dying fairly soon because of that. Like, no one likes to go onto the lot and within seconds someone going, "Hey, can I help you today?" Like, well, you're just like, dude,
what can I do to get you into this car?
Right. It's like, dude, you're a fucking sleazeball. I get you're working off commission, but fuck off.
Yeah.
You know, and because like in today's world, I really think most dealerships are gonna just narrow down to parts and service, and then they'll have demo versions of the base models on the lot just so you can sit in it and see what it feels like.
Yeah.
But you'll do everything like you can just do everything online. You're like, hey, like I want this vehicle, I want this color, I want with this options, and you're making it exactly the way you want it, and then they just ship it to the dealer or to you directly.
That's exactly what we just did.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And so it's like, why do I need to pay another $10,000 or $5,000 or whatever to someone who literally did nothing?
Right.
So I because I mean that's what most people do these days. Like they do all the research online. They go into the dealership and they're like, oh, like let's say the car is $60,000. And they're like, oh, that'll be $68,000. They're like, no. Online, it says $60,000. And they're like, well, you know, we've got to make money, blah, 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 blah. It's like
destination charge, convenience fees, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, fuck off.
Like, no, fuck off. Yeah, exactly. I'm not paying you $8,000 for some bullshit, you know.
Yeah, share the chassis. If you're ever buying a used car, always check the horn. If it doesn't honk, it's been an accident and the airbags have not been replaced. Yeah, it's a good call.
Good,
it's also helpful. You know, it's also helpful too for women.
Yeah. Okay.
That's just I don't know.
That's the caffeine talking.
It is.
Yeah.
If it doesn't honk,
there it is. There's the road to awkwardness right there.
Clarify that, Matt.
Yeah. Okay.
Anywho, yeah. So there's a number of things you can be on the lookout for. Obviously, CarMax or Carfax rather is super important. Like for instance, the car that we were having transferred over is a former leased vehicle, right? So it was one owner, and they turned it in before, the lease was up, and it's in good shape. It has to get all, has to be, 178 point inspection from Carfax or CarMax and all that shit. So like, the car is in good shape. Pretty excited about. But yeah, you gotta make sure you're not getting fucked over by some cheesy, used car sales lot as opposed to a dealership. So typically if you go to a dealership, you're not gonna get fucked too badly. If you go to those used car lots, there's no liability there, and they will make money off you however they can.
You know who always fucks you?
Commercials.
Commercial break. You know what, Matt? That's so funny because I was about to use the same kind of thing. Like, speaking of getting fucked, here's
it's like a Pornhub commercial.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Let's go.
Are you sitting by yourself right now? No.
I hope it's for the lotto, because I know, sometimes the lottery likes to advertise. So, it's like a good.
Going to TV and stuff. I was hoping Jack was going to be here because I did watch all of Jury Duty.
Oh, I haven't watched all of it. I'm like halfway through.
Well, like to me, I didn't get the hype until the last episode. Because that's really what brings it home. Like, and it's such a good last episode. And I mean, there's something that happens like mid-season, or it's only that many episodes anyway. But there's one thing that I'm just like, oh my god, But it's a decent show. It's something to watch if you have a half a day to kill. And then what else? I started watching the last season, Succession. That's pretty good. And I watched something else too, but
Ted Lasso. You guys,
you guys have heard me say about Ted Lasso that I haven't been the biggest fan of this season. It's not bad, but it's just to me it doesn't hit like season 1 and 2 did. This newest episode though, fucking top rate.
Oh, today's?
Yeah, the one today. Oh. Yeah, today's episode, great episode.
I've enjoyed this season, but there's been moments throughout, but
exactly.
I think there's
Well,
I don't know if there's going to be another season or not.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're throwing.
I don't think there is.
I'm sure they're trying to throw suitcases of money.
Barry, that's it. Sorry, John.
I'm like an episode behind on Barry. I haven't watched.
I gotta catch up on Ted Lasso. I blame Amanda. She's absolutely terrible at watching shows.
Well, you know, like
I'm putting that in. I'm putting that in this year's Christmas card to you. Like,
do it. She'd be like, "Yeah, you're fucking right."
No, it is hard. It is hard to find a show. Just at the end of the day, the kids are in bed. You're on your phone. What do you want to watch? Like, unwinding.
She's up at like fucking 5:30 every morning.
My wife too.
She goes to bed at like.
She loves the morning time.
8:30.
Yep, mine too. Like, our wives are in sync. Is it this Franklin thing?
Could be.
Yeah,
could be.
But I mean, you know, she was like, "Oh, you're podcasting? Okay, well, I'll just go up to bed."
Maybe they can only deal with you guys for like 3 hours out of the day,
you know? And that's why they get up so early. You know, they get up like she likes to have tea time with Maggie, which is sweet. So
there's kind of
she raised the pinky up.
Something just fell upstairs.
It's the cat,
probably.
Probably. The other show, Apple's Silo. So I want to give some credit to Dennis. Dennis recommended this show to me.
Fuck Dennis. I haven't talked to him. I just picked it up, watched it on my own, and was drawn in.
Well, Dennis,
I like you, man.
Dennis, you know, mentioned it to me probably 3 or 4 weeks before it aired. It was like, hey, watch this show when it comes out on Apple. I was like, okay. And so, you know, at first it kind of was the typical like post-apocalyptic society,
dystopian,
and you're kind of like, okay, but it's got some interesting things in it. I'm like, okay.
Is it kind of like Snowpiercer?
In some ways, yeah.
I'm 2 episodes in.
Okay.
So Cloverfield Lane.
But I really, after watching the first episode, it definitely like there was like, ooh, I need the next one.
Exactly.
Know?
Yeah.
And so, you know, either you're gonna have a pilot that sticks the landing and is like super solid, sets up the rules of the show, or you're gonna have a pilot that's like this, where it's kind of like it leads you all the way up to a point where you're like, oh, I need to know more, you know. And so I just kind of binged and went into the next episode. So
yeah, I did the same thing.
And I'm just exploring like some of the other shows on Apple Plus since I have it. You know, it's like, oh, well, what else is? You know, we've been watching the Eugene Levy one as well. Where
I couldn't fucking do it.
The Reluctant Traveler. So
it's
kind of more of a casual show that's on. You know, so I don't understand. I understand the premise of the show, but to me, I'm not like I'm reluctant. I want to be at home. But when I'm traveling, I want to see things, and it's
just so overdone. It's like, okay, for the first 15 minutes, you're like, oh, it's really cute and endearing, like how he's like blah blah blah. It's like, okay, shut the fuck up. We get it. Like, move on.
I think the Rainn Wilson one, which seems similar but different, because his isn't about like being a reluctant traveler, and it doesn't have like the editorial. Like, there's an editorial sheen that I think that is on the Reluctant Traveler. That's like maybe a little bit more unpolished and like open, but there's a show on Peacock with Rainn Wilson where he's kind of like following his bliss and he's going around the world. And the first episode's on Iceland, and it really got me excited about Iceland. So
you know what I love and hate about travel shows.
What's that?
I love that travel shows expose me to places I had not seen and I want to go there.
Yeah. But
it also makes every other person want to go there.
Right.
Well, and that's why I hate it. You know?
Well, my aunt and my uncle, I just had a visit with this past weekend. They had just been to Iceland and Reykjavik, and
Iceland's great.
They were there in March, and so she really wanted to see the Aurora Borealis, and they did on the first night that they were there. They got to, which was great.
That's awesome.
They didn't get a chance to see it the rest of the time.
Exactly, it's hard to catch. Yeah,
and the pictures that they had and some of the things that she described, like it was amazing. Like in the photos, like she was like, that red, you don't see that red, that just comes through in the photograph. Like you actually don't, you know, and the colors are a little different, you know. But it was really excited for her. But some of the different sites that like she was showing us her travel book, and that was funny because we just happened to watch this show with Rainn Wilson on Peacock, and I was like, oh, well, there's this and there's this. Like I could almost see the different things in the show that so I think it connected it to me more, and the fact that I knew someone that had just been there. And so
well, what I liked about Iceland is, aside from the capital, Reykjavik. Reykjavik is the only part of Iceland that feels touristy. The rest of it almost feels like you're in a gigantic national park. Because there's no hotels in Iceland aside from the capital. Like, everything is bed and breakfast, and you have to set all that up. And you can easily hitchhike, but you can also rent cars and all that. But it's just, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that every place I went into, they had these little huts that you rented, and that was your bed, your bathroom, and all that. And then you would go into these people's homes, and they would have just a big long table, and they would feed you whatever they were going to eat. And it's like, and you felt, like you were part of a family for a little while, and I really enjoyed that. And then just Iceland was just pretty cool. You think it's weird about also is that in the capital, most of those people are not Icelandic. They're all from other parts of the EU because they can make a good living for the tourist industry there. But but the other parts of Iceland, they're actually Icelandic people. But I really loved Iceland. It's one of the few places I would gladly go back.
It was interesting too, because she, we weren't even talking about this subject matter, but like as she's going through all of her, she's talking about how safe she felt there. Like it was like this level of like, what's up? No, there was just this level of like she was more talking about like there's a certain anxiety of kind of public places that
I totally get it.
Being in the United States, that Maya was not being political by any means. She was just talking freely and from the heart. And I was like, oh, that's interesting that you would. Well, that's kind of what I meant. Tap into that or feel that kind of like,
Yeah, it's like, a lot of college kids, or foreigners will go on backpacking trips throughout Europe, and that's what I was kind of shocked with, is that there was a lot of people when I would be in spots just taking photographs or whatnot. You'd have like 2 or 3 or young women, probably 20, 21 years old, just like, hey, like I'm trying to hitch a ride to blah blah blah. Are you going that way? And as an American, hitchhiking can be really scary, and so that kind of blew my mind how often that happened. But I don't know. I mean, if you and I are hitchhiking, no one gives a shit.
There was some other shows I had watched since I'd last seen and talked to you guys, but I can't even remember what they are.
So I just went down a rabbit hole of researching something while you were talking about this. You mentioned Rainn Wilson earlier.
Guessing it's not Iceland.
No, dude, that Prime show Utopia.
So good.
Oh, okay.
It got canceled.
Yeah, it got canceled like a year more than a year
I didn't know that. I'm fucking pissed about that.
It never drew the numbers. But I mean, I haven't watched
What's that show?
The BBC show was, it was based on the BBC, and I haven't watched the BBC version. So it's like a virus thing that breaks out. It's really good.
Okay.
It's there's a comic book involved in it, and it's good. It's really good. Yeah.
It's got John Cusack is in it. Rainn Wilson is in it.
Oh, Rainn Wilson. Okay, that's what I was like. Where's the connection?
I thought it was really, really awesome.
Really good.
And unfortunately, I was trying to remember, when you said Rainn Wilson, I was like, oh, what the fuck was that show that I watched it in? I couldn't remember what it was called.
It got canceled like literally 2 or 3 weeks after the show finished, season 1, and I was so pissed when it's because it just never got the viewership. But I think it's because people saw Utopia, the title, and they didn't understand what the show was about.
Right. The title can make or break a show like that.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, all you gotta do is watch it, and you're like, damn, this is a fucking good show.
Sometimes I think like when shows like and we're all sons of Lost in some way, sons and daughters of Lost, but like that idea of like the one word show, it's like sometimes I think a show would be better if it was just like blah 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 Utopia. It's like it had something else that like hooked you or like brought you in or like let you know like what am I about to like, because I mean like it's just so vague, but who am I to say? Like I have a hard time titling artwork sometimes. I'm just like blah blah blah. That's it. Like
did you guys watch The Witcher at all?
No.
Yeah.
Because I thought it had to do with Witcher Man.
Like, when does that come out?
Man?
It's Wicker Man?
The season 3 part 1 is at the end of June.
So season 3 part 1 still has Cavill.
Yes, and so will part 2. And I think that's the reason why they've split season 3 into 2, because they know Cavill's leaving and they want to. And the reason why he's leaving is because how far they've gone away from the source material, because they, like a lot of showrunners these days, they just want to make a show their own thing. Right. It's like, dude, stick to the fucking books. And that's why Cavill was like, you know what? You guys keep veering away from what it's supposed to be. I'm gone. And I think most people that I know who really like the show said as soon as Cavill's gone, they're gone. Like, they're not going to watch it anymore. Because Cavill is really what brought, is the glue of the show. He's the centerpiece.
And I saw some images of like a mock-ups of what what's his name's going to look like. And I mean, from a looks perspective, I can see pretty close. But yeah, I mean, Cavill really did make that show. He's getting like fucked.
He's getting seriously fucked. Yeah.
Like I don't know if he pissed somebody off like somewhere or what, but he has gotten like absolutely screwed at like 2 huge franchises. Like, what's he doing now? Is he doing anything? Is he still acting?
Yeah, no, he's still acting. Yeah.
But in what?
I don't know what. Yeah. Right.
You know?
Oh no, he's got another. He's doing another show now. Or at least I know it's in development. I remember him.
It's a tourism show.
Like
it goes around the world.
It's another like sci-fi fantasy thing.
Oh, hey, Dungeons and Dragons is on Paramount Plus. I haven't watched it yet, but it's the new Dungeons.
Oh, I've heard it's amazing
with Chris Pine.
Yeah.
It takes a lighter-hearted approach. Like, are you being sarcastic or real? That it's amazing.
Chris?
Oh no, I've heard it's fucking amazing. Like, legitimately. Like, it's like an absolute masterpiece of a movie.
My brother was he's into magic and Dungeons, Warhammer, and he played, so I think he was kind of like, well, I didn't expect it to be that, but it was good for what, like I think he was kind of surprised it was more of a comedy, like it took a different approach to it. And I think that some people that might be going into it thinking like, what have they done to Dungeons and Dragons? They willowed it this thing, like they might be, of that mindset.
You can't beat the community episode. So.
You can't make a community episode.
No, I mean, like, you can't beat it, the community episode. I'm kidding, but like, you saw that, didn't you? That's like one of the best episodes.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm not following what you're saying.
Because like they played Dungeons and Dragons in one episode of Community.
Okay, yes,
and it was so good. Even though that's not really how Dungeons and Dragons work, it was.
I liked the cartoon growing up. Because they had like the backwards waterfall, which that fucking blew my mind. Like, as a kid, I still I think that like half my art is just backwards waterfalls. Like, I'm still like trying to work through that in my mind. Chris knows what I mean. You see a lot of my artwork. There's a lot of.
I do when you post it on Instagram. I see it.
TikTok.
Yeah. I try to post on Instagram and TikTok. Those are my. But I'm gearing up for some stuff on YouTube. So, just because, well, it's a different platform, and I'm also working on a website right now so that I can have all of the work kind of collected, but it's a lot of work. So I'm up to 81 frames now. I started this like last year, sometime in July. So my goal was always to kind of get to 100 and then kind of decide like, do I want to keep going or do I want to just kind of start a new series? And I already have different things in mind and have been dabbling in other things. I don't know exactly what, but kind of starting to corral it together. It's like in my mind, it's a different part of the process. So sorry, I'm babbling because half my day has just been on the computer, like doing website maintenance stuff where I'm like looking at all of these images. I'm like, shit, I make a lot of stuff. So but anyway, that's me.
It's awesome, dude.
My pipes finally got fixed, or most of
it.
I should hopefully have water by the end of this week. So.
Yeah,
6 months later. Yeah. And then I could probably, start sleeping here again because at least I have water. And then, eventually they'll just fix the floors and everything else, the drywall and all that. But
I like that you haven't changed your avatar thing here to say from Hi Bob. Like it's still Hi Bob.
Been Hi Bob for like 6 months or more. You know?
I definitely sit there every week and I'm like, I just can't fucking think of anything right now. It's worth typing.
I'm so ready for that. I know it will be a while, but I'm ready for season 4 of season 4.
Oh yeah,
For All Mankind.
Oh yeah,
such a good show.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
There's a lot of like stuff that's coming up or on the horizon that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah,
on the
got a whole list of stuff. Let me see.
TV. So
yeah.
What are you looking at?
I'm bringing up my list of things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I always write if I can remember, premiere dates and releases, whatever.
Well, they said Ahsoka's coming out in August, and then I saw somewhere that it was like going to be August 31st, and I was like,
"Oh, what a dick move!"
I was like, "That's fucking bullshit." That's like saying like coming summer 2023 on September 21st. It's like the last day of official summer. So.
Oh yeah, I did watch Air. That was good.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Let's see here.
We talked about
Super Mario Brothers. Sweet Tooth season 2 I have not gotten to yet. Did you guys watch that? That was a good show.
I did. I read the comics.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That is another comic-based TV show. There's so many.
And then of course I have not yet gotten around to Muppets Mayhem, which I definitely want to watch.
I have not either, so that's on the docket. Next week, my family and I we're going to Disney World. So that's been kind of.
That's right. Oh, it's next week. Too.
Yeah,
so
next week. So I probably won't be here next week because of that. Okay. I can't wait to get back from. I can't wait to go. I'd rather not look forward to the moment where I get to tell you guys, but it will be fun to kind of because I haven't been in so long.
Well, I told you guys that I've ridden Pirates of the Caribbean 3 times in my life, and I have not one time finished that ride. It's broken down every single time.
Oh, wow.
And as I rode it, last summer, I was telling my friend that was sitting next to me, and Cliff was sitting next to me too. I go, hey, when I rode this ride back in 1988, it broke down right over here. And then sure enough, it broke down at the exact same fucking spot. And I was like,
that's awesome.
I was like, I have not ever finished this ride. But all right, I'm reading off stuff. So June 2nd, Manifest. Woo-hoo.
Oh, nice.
June 16th, movie Asteroid City. Big Wes Anderson fan, if you guys are.
Oh yeah. Oh, that looks good.
That looks good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but why did they put Bill Murray's character in it? I don't understand.
Yeah, for real. Wow. June 21st, Secret Invasion. June 22nd, The Bear season 2. June 29th is The Witcher season 3.
Oh,
June
yeah,
30th.
The Bear season 2. When does that come out?
June 22nd.
June 22nd. Right.
Okay.
Sorry,
yep. Then June 30th, Indiana Jones. July 14th, you have Foundation season 2 on Apple. Which was
okay.
Oh, nice, dude. I forgot about that show. Shit, that's awesome. Is
that worth going? Because I've been looking at the Apple too.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dude, Apple
Foundation.
TV has just fucking been putting out bangers. They haven't failed in a show yet that I've seen.
Then now it starts getting a little bit more narrower.
Oh, okay.
Like July 14th, Mission Impossible. July 21st, Oppenheimer. August, of course, Ahsoka. November 3rd, Dune Part 2. December 15th, Wonka. That's all I've got written down.
Dune Part 2, like
Chalamet.
With Chalamet.
Yeah. He's got two movies coming out, man. In the winter time there.
God. I don't even know if I'm gonna see Dune Part 2.
Wait, no, let's just get to the good part, man.
Yeah. Dune Part 2 is when it's gonna get
boring. The first one was.
Dune 2 is where
just wait till Sting shows up, man.
And if they're doing what I assume is a trilogy and they go forward even beyond what is normal Dune, because I think that was the plan, is that Part 2 will be ending of the first true book, and then maybe even probably contain elements perhaps of setting up Dune Messiah.
The first one was one of the most boring movies I think I've ever watched.
Well, to me, even though you're right, it's very slow, but like I watched it in the 4D experience, and that was totally worth it because when you feel the fucking everything happening in the theater, the soundtrack, and the visuals, and all that was, to me, it was totally worth it. I loved it. So. But I agree. I mean, most people think it was boring as shit because it is. It's all set up, and it ends right when it's get good.
Yeah, so it does end right when it's getting good, and it is a travesty that they do that. But I still like the book maybe the best, like honestly, like so. Anyway, well, I mean, I do like the old one, but we won't get into that. Jackson Lai says Fast X. Haven't seen that one yet.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, Fast 10.
Dude, I actually thought about going to see it yesterday. But I was like, oh, you know what? I'll just let me just look up what I should know. You know, what should I know going into watching Fast X? Apparently, there's a lot of shit that I have not seen in the Fast and Furious franchise. There's a ton of storylines. Yeah, and I realized that a bunch of them were on like Paramount or whatever. And I started watching the opening like 10 minutes of Fast 9, and I was like, oh shit!
Oh, Fast 9 is shit though.
Is it?
It's considered to be the worst one, I think, aside from the Tokyo Drift one.
I think the last one I saw, The Rock was in it. I think they were in like Brazil with Charlize Theron.
That's the last one I saw.
Yeah.
I saw like 5, 6, and 7, I think, and that's where I kind of was like, okay, because I mean they're all the same for the most extent. But you know what you're gonna go in when you watch it. It's like, okay, I'm gonna see a bunch of cars, I'm gonna see a bunch of explosions, a bunch of like over steroid guys punching each other.
Right. Jason Statham still in it? Still?
I don't even
know.
No idea. But it was crazy to me is like when you think about like that series has been out for over 20 years.
Dude, it's crazy to think about that. Right. So I watched the opening minutes of Fast 9, and it was like apparently like Dominic Toretto when he was younger in 1989 with his dad, right? And his dad gets killed in a racing accident or whatever. And I was like, wait a minute. 1989. I was 9. So why do they have a different actor portraying? Like, wait, how old are they supposed to be? And I was like, God damn. So like, yeah. So it's like Vin Diesel's like what, 50 now? 50 something years old.
Yeah,
probably in real life. But yeah, that series has been around for fucking ever.
Yeah,
that so much so that isn't his daughter? What's his name's daughter in this movie?
I have no idea. But,
I mean, what's the guy's name? The guy who died.
Paul Walker.
Paul Walker, his daughter, I think, is in this movie. And I think his daughter was like a baby when he died.
Yeah, I watched that one too. Jackson Lee wrote that. There was a spinoff, with The Rock and and Jason Statham, where they were like, I forget what it's called, but still in the same story. But yeah, you go back and watch the first one, and you see how fucking young they are and how skinny they are because they're only like 25 years old in that movie, and you're like, oh my god, they're just kids,
right?
Because I mean, especially the guy I just said, the guy Paul Walker. Paul Walker had probably just done the Skulls, and you think about the Skulls, how old that movie is, and you're just like, Jesus.
Or the fucking T-Rex movie,
Jurassic Park.
No, the one I was talking about from the video game.
Oh, sorry. I don't know. I kept thinking of for a rock, paper, scissors joke with.
So, for what it's worth, Fast and the Furious came out in 2001. So it's 23 years ago. His daughter was 3 years old when he filmed this movie.
And now she's graduating.
She's now in the movie.
Not crazy.
Hobbs and Shaw.
I want to know.
Is that the sequel?
Yeah, Cobbs and Shaw.
Cobbs and Sean. Cobbs and Yawn.
Yeah. What blows my mind is the brunette that was also it's in most of the Fast and Furious. That's supposed to be Vin Diesel's sister.
Yeah, from Lost.
No, was she in Lost? No, not Michelle Rodriguez.
Jordana Brewster.
Yeah, like still smoke show. I have no idea how old she is, but oh my god, the woman does not age.
Jordana Brewster. She's 43.
Oh, okay. So she's okay.
Right in the pocket.
Yeah. But, I mean, I remember her from The Faculty. When I think of her, that's what I think of because that kick-ass GTO in it. Remember the fact? You guys remember the faculty?
The Faculty. Nah.
So it's with it came out around roughly that time, like 99, 98, 2000. It's about an alien. It's one girl. It's a high school bullshit movie. You know.
Okay.
Like basically, an alien comes down and she like hijacks a body, and she's like a sea. You should guys watch it. I mean, it's probably
what's up?
No, but it's one of those horror movies from when we were on high school.
Sure.
Right after high school, that it was popular, but kind of gotten forgotten about.
Okay.
The Faculty, yeah.
She is gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
I'm looking up these movies you speak of. She's in a movie called Hot Dog Water.
Well,
huh, okay.
The Faculty. Okay. Delilah Prophet. I do not. Oh, with what's his name? He fucking disappeared off the face.
Oh,
yeah. The guy from Pearl Harbor. That guy.
What's his name? Josh Hartnett.
Josh Hartnett. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Josh Hartnett.
He disappeared, huh?
What did he do?
Well, supposedly that movie he did with Harrison Ford is what killed his career.
Oh yeah, you do a show with him. That guy, it's like he's like the Highlander of actors.
Yeah.
Oh, he was in.
Well, he was a pretty boy.
11.
He was a pretty boy. You know, and he could act okay, but he was not a great actor.
Yeah, Lucky Slevin.
But the one
that was a good movie.
The one he did with Harrison Ford, though, apparently, like him and Harrison Ford did not get along whatsoever, and it kind of soured him in Hollywood.
Fuck with me.
What movie was
You're
that?
never gonna work again.
It's like 2005-ish, somewhere in there.
You're not
Black
an
Hawk
actor.
Down.
You're not a writer. You're not a director.
Sin City?
Get the fuck out.
No, it's not Sin City. If you say it, I'll know it.
Oh, he was in Black
Homicide?
Hawk Down.
Hollywood Homicide, that's it.
Yeah.
And he was in.
Oh my God, Harrison Ford was young.
Well, youngish.
I think there's something to this though. Harrison Ford works with certain actors, and he like destroys their career and absorbs their energy so he can live longer. He's like,
maybe.
Yes.
Maybe.
Now I can fly more planes.
But you know how he absorbs their energy though, right? They raw dog him.
That's true, and then peg him.
You know what, Nick? That would blow my mind. If it weren't for the fact that we need to end this show and
and see, wasn't Penny Dreadful, Matt. I remember getting I think at Comic-Con they were giving away like the first 2-3 episodes on DVD when that show came out.
I wish I knew who to thank to make this show possible. But I was not left instructions as I was just given a text message.
You know who you are. Thanks for the
We appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thanks for everybody that did join us live, though. We do appreciate it. But more importantly, thanks to my co-hosts. Like it's really good to see you guys. Yeah, it's like it's been 2 weeks.
Do you guys? We did get 2 emails. Do you want to read them, or you want to save them?
Oh no, go ahead. Yeah, let's go ahead. I mean, unless they're addressed to Jack.
No. I think they all say actually fuck Jack. So the first one is from Ed Connell, and the title is Tipping. He writes,
are you sure it's not Ed Colonel?
I guys want you guys to realize this is the first time I've ever gotten first billing ever.
Whoa,
oh, nice. Good for you, bud.
Nick, Jack, Chris.
I never have had first billing.
Yeah. Nick, Jack, Chris, and sometimes Matt. All the talk in the latest episode about McDonald's made me wonder what you think about the self-serve stations or places that use Square and get the tip screen, and the associate or cashier has really done nothing.
Oh yeah, fuck that noise.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you don't do anything,
also if I'm picking
tip.
up too, like unless it's an establishment where I'm like, I know you, you're cool, I like you, but come on. Like if I'm just walking up and giving you my credit card and I'm taking it,
yeah,
I'm sorry, the money is for the food. Okay?
So
and I've done all of the work to get to point A to point B to retrieve. Okay? If you want to this is one caveat. If you're like, okay, 5%. But let's not get too crazy here. This is not a 25% upsell. This is not a 20. That's not like, hey, you're just handing me the food. Thank you for not spitting in it. Is that a hostage situation now with tips?
So here's the thing. Here's my outlook on this, right? I think there's a couple of scenarios that are being brought up, but we can't look at them all through the same lens, right?
Okay,
so you think about
that's fair.
Think about McDonald's, right? McDonald's, no, like McDonald's is like, you know, it's like a machine, right? It's just like a cog in the machine. It's a corporate entity. Like they pay their employees X amount of dollars, and
apparently they hire minors. Have you heard about
13
this?
years old.
Yeah,
13.
that's fucked up.
So
you can work there as long as you have parents' permission.
No,
not
overworking and overworking them.
Working. Oh,
yeah,
okay, gotcha.
and under, because 13 is below.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, but here's the other bit too. Like, I think of like the mom and pop shop, right?
Sure.
I go to one every day. It's a bagel and coffee shop here in town, where you're going to get really good stuff, like not your corporate America bullshit. You know, you're getting it not like Dunkin' Donuts even. You're getting like handmade bagels, you know, coffee that's brewed, and they got a bunch of people working there who are just busting their ass, including the baker who gets there literally at 3:00 in the morning to make the bagels. I gladly throw on 10% every time I'm in there, because you're paying for a premium service, you're paying for a premium product, you're also paying for a mom and pop shop, and it's not some corporate, you know, bullshit.
That's a total different.
And you're helping helping the recruitment of getting good people to work there.
Yeah,
because they know that, you know, if rumor has it you're making an average of, you know, but I think they probably make over $20 an hour when you think average in the tips and their wages, and that's that's going to attract people to want to work there, and then you're going to have better service, and you're just going to have it's a whole positive cycle. I don't know. That's just
I have our local one. We have a local coffee shop on the corner, what have you. They make bakery kind of goods. Now they have something where every month they take the tips and they donate it to something. Because apparently, like, they're paying their employees enough.
That's bullshit.
Right.
That's fucking bullshit.
Because you're basically stealing from your employees,
right,
and then giving it because you're
exactly. Now every now and then they'll have a month where it's like, oh, this is
so they're using their employees' earned money to have a tax write-off for the business.
Right,
that's horseshit.
Yeah.
So then if they did something like, hey, if they had a sign up that said, if we will match, you know, every amount of tips every month for this charity,
right,
then that's cool. But no, don't take from your fucking employees.
Yeah. But no, I mean, if it's a restaurant that I know, or I know the people, or I like, you know, this establishment, but some of these places, it just gets like the expectation of like, wait, what? I'm just handing you my credit card. Thanks for handing me a piece of paper and a pen. I did that in retail every fucking day and never got a goddamn tip. You know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, the shit you put up with, Chris. I mean, that's what the money is for. And I realize that waiters and waitresses get paid a different share, which is also bullshit. It should just be like an equal.
But that's I disagree there too. Like,
you think it should be all tip based?
I think there has to be tip based, because like you think about it, that is what dictates the level of service you're going to get, right? Like if you know X restaurant's you're gonna average out at $30 an hour with your tips, versus a restaurant that you know you're going to average out at $18 an hour with your tips, which one are you going to try and work your ass off to work at?
Mm-hmm.
The former, right? Like that tipping well promotes great service, which promotes a great restaurant. As someone who worked in the restaurant industry, like if you have a restaurant, like, put this in perspective, right? So like, I'm buying a fucking car from CarMax, right?
Mm.
The employee that I end up buying the car from is not going to get paid any less or any more if he sells this car, right? Like, but there's no sales comp. There's no people wanting to go to work at CarMax, and that's what inevitably is going to turn it into an online only system. Like, the person at the dealership is becoming irrelevant. So no one's working there. But if you have someone who's going to make $800 off the sale of this car plus another $1,000 off of the financing options they might get, like that's what commissioned sales is. And that's why I'm not getting my phone number is not blowing up. I'm not getting people calling me or emailing me trying to get my business out of my car. They're just going to sell the car and move on to the next customer. So there's a whole like level of service there. I think that whether it's tipping or commission, like I think it actually benefits the organization. That's just me.
Was there more to that email?
Not to that one. No.
Oh,
Sorry.
Okay.
No,
That's okay.
No, you're fine. Like I actually lost track what I was trying to think of earlier about tips, but that's why I paused.
Yeah, you got
tip.
Just the tip.
It's good.
Oh, yeah, because that's what it was. Because I think we talked about this, last time we had a podcast, or maybe the time before, about like the ones that drive me crazy are the ones at the grocery stores. It was like, would you like to give $2 to end world hunger? I'm
right.
You're a fucking corporation that has food. You just give the food fucking to them. Like,
But I think I remember I actually do the roundup ones because it makes my life easy.
Right? Yeah, we did talk about that. Yeah, like would you like to round up? Yeah, here's 13 cents. Cool. Yeah.
Would you like to round down today? Fuck yeah!
Yes.
Round it down, and then you donate that change. Okay, that's how that works.
This
Give
one's
a penny, take a penny. Now it's just take pennies. Fuck this bullshit.
The next email is a little bit long, and twice in a row I got first billing.
Hey,
why do you have to write yourself these emails? It's sad.
Important.
It's sad.
I'm always the forgotten one.
All right, we got 8 minutes to finish this up.
Okay, so this one's called Kidney Stones versus Childbirth.
Oh fuck that the old nugget.
Yeah. So hello, Nick, Matt, Jack, and Chris. I'm running to weigh in on the debate you had in giving birth is easy.
What the fuck? Nobody ever fucking said that.
That was the title of the episode.
Oh,
yeah,
that's right.
We did. That was a little clickbait there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
First time listener.
Go ahead. As it happens, I have had both kidney stones and given birth, so I feel uniquely qualified to weigh in on this. Okay. I had kidney stones in 2007, and when asked by the doctor how it would gauge my pain level, it was definitely a 10 out of 10. Up until I went through childbirth in 2020, my ordeal with kidney stones was the absolute worst pain I had ever been through my entire life. I remember everyone telling me that because I'd been through that experience, giving birth should be easy for me. Right. Going by that same scale, kidney stones were a 10 out of 10 as well. Then 10 out of 10. Okay. Then labor is easily a 15 out of 10. It was no joke.
Wow.
I heard that childbirth is more painful when induced, and I was induced, so maybe that's also a factor. It was a labor of 23 hours.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I went without an epidural for the first 9 or 10 of those hours. Actually, I was ready for delivery at that point, but the only doctor available was busy doing a C-section in another room. So they had to give me drugs to delay for my delivery.
Oh.
So she really had an ordeal then. Yeah.
That's awful.
It was at that point that I said, forget this, give me the epidural, which they brought the pain of labor down to a 12 out of 10. And epidural doesn't make labor and delivery painless. At least it didn't for me. It just helps. So in my experience, childbirth is unquestionably more painful than kidney stones. I have heard kidney stones are worse for men, though, of course, due to anatomical differences. I can't imagine how painful it would be for a man. Okay, this is I can't imagine now how painful it would be for a man to sit on himself. But if it's not as painful as kidney stones, then it probably isn't as painful as giving birth. Regardless, the pain probably fades much more quickly than either kidney stones or childbirth. Thanks for all you guys do, Amanda.
Oh, thanks, Amanda.
Nice, thanks, Amanda.
Yeah, that was a good email, and a second female to come forward to also say hey, because Sherry in the chat had also mentioned when and she had both and said corroborated that sentiment. So What else? What else can we say?
You were ready to kill the show like 20 minutes
well,
ago.
no,
so.
I was trying to be prudent and not have a Jack show, and everybody can get to bed on time.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, thanks for everybody that did join us, and thank you for sending in those emails. If you have some emails that you want to send us about how you want to do a tip, or how you want to do, kidney stones versus pregnancy, or how whatever you want to talk about. What is it? rcadcast@gmail.com.
You got it.
Yeah,
gmail.com.
Click like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We would appreciate that. And so would Jack. We've been doing this for quite some time now. So thanks for everybody that joined us live in the chat. We appreciate it. Thank you for the patrons that make this show possible. You can go over to jayandjack.com, become a patron member, and that helps out our TV money.
If you guys want to make my day, send a couple of emails talking about how much Jack sucks for missing an episode.
Oh, wow.
So we can read those live on air, because he'll be so happy that we got like a bunch of emails.
Yeah, he will.
But then when they all say, thanks, Jack, for not showing up, leave it to the professionals to be here, then,
I wish Jack would miss more and Nick would podcast and take over the show as the rightful heir. Tell us who you think should win the Super Bowl. And I don't know where I'm rambling with this. Thanks for.
Who we betting on with the?
I'm trying
NBA?
to remember the patrons. I'm sorry, I'm rusty. I know Maggie, and I know Ed, and I know Tack.
You should draw them. And sometimes,
I did multiple times. Joanne, she still has a plan. And if I've missed anyone, it's only because I love you most of all. Thank you for doing what you do. Thanks for making this show possible, and everybody else. Good night, gentlemen. Godspeed.
See ya.
Hasta luego. And